For the past 18 years, residents in and around Circleville, Ohio, have received literally thousands of bizarre letters and postcards. They represent an insidious campaign of character assassination, which some believe has left one man dead and another unfairly imprisoned.
One of the very first letters, if not the first letter, was received by Mary Gillespie, a school bus driver, telling her that the letter writer was aware that she was having an affair with the superintendent of schools and that it had better stop.
In addition to allegations of an affair, the letter carried an ominous threat.
I know where you live. I've been observing your house and know you have children. This is no joke. Please take it serious.
So, imagine living in a town where someone knows everything about you. Not just the stuff you post online, not the gossip you hear at work. I'm talking about your secrets, your darkest fears, the things you thought no one else knew. And one day, you get a letter. No return address, no signature, just blocky handwriting filled with threats.
Stay away from Massey. Don't lie when questioned about knowing him. I know where you live and have been observing your house and know you have children. This is no joke. Please take it serious. Everyone concerned has been notified and everything will be over soon.
And worse, the letter is right. It knows too much. Now imagine that happening not just to you, but to your neighbors, your co-workers, your kids' teachers, everyone. Well, that's exactly what happened in Circleville, Ohio. A quiet little town that was turned upside down by an anonymous figure who sent hundreds of letters, exposing secrets, stirring fear, and maybe even committing murder. To this day, nobody knows who they were. And the deeper you look, the stranger this whole thing gets. All right, let's rewind back to 1976, Circleville, Ohio, about 25 miles south of Columbus. One of those towns where life is slow, neighbors wave at each other, and people leave their doors unlocked. But that peace wouldn't last much longer. It started small, a few letters here and there. No name, no return address, just thick black ink, all capital letters, and personal threatening messages. And the weirdest part, the letters were specific, uncomfortably specific. Whoever was writing them knew private details, things not even close friends would know. The first known target, a woman named Mary Gillespie. She was a school bus driver, married, quiet. Not the type you'd expect to draw attention, but the letter accused her of having an affair with the local school superintendent, a man named Gordon Massey. Mary had no idea who sent it. She tried to brush it off, but then more letters came, same handwriting, same accusations, and then her husband, Ron Gillespie, started getting them too. So now it's not just Mary. Ron's getting threats too, and the tone of the letters starts shifting. It's not just accusations anymore, it's ultimatums. Stop the affair, or else. The writer even mentioned knowing what roads they took, where their kids were. Ron, feeling the pressure, confided in family. Together, they decided not to go to the police. They didn't want to escalate it. Instead, they crafted a plan. They suspected someone Mary knew, so they wrote that person a letter of their own, warning them to stop. And for a short while, it worked. The letters stopped, but not for long. Fast forward to August 19th, 1977. Ron gets a phone call. No one knows what was said, but after hanging up, he grabbed his gun, which had never been fired before, and left the house. Minutes later, his pickup truck was found crashed into a tree. Ron was dead. Police ruled it an accident, said he'd been drinking. But here's the thing. Ron's family swore up and down that he didn't drink. And according to the autopsy, his blood alcohol content was 1.5 times the legal limit, but that didn't match his behavior before he left. It just didn't add up. Even stranger, his gun had been fired once. No bullet found, no explanation, just one shot, never accounted for. So what happened that night? Did he meet the letter writer? Was he ambushed? Did he pull the trigger? And if so, at what? Nobody knew. And that set off a wave of speculation that never really ended. After Ron's death, you might expect the mystery to die down, but the opposite happened. More letters started arriving. A lot more, not just to Mary anymore. They went to local officials, neighbors, school staff. People were being accused of crimes, corruption, affairs. It was chaos. And then came the signs. Mary started noticing hand-painted signs along her bus route. Some of them were just bizarre. Others were disturbing, especially the ones about her daughter. And one day, she'd had enough. She pulled over to rip one of them down. But behind the sign was a small box, and inside that box was a loaded pistol, rigged with a string to fire if the sign was tampered with. It was a trap, a crude but deadly one. If Mary hadn't been so careful, she could have been killed. The town was officially terrified. Now it wasn't just letters. Someone had tried to kill her. Police launched an investigation, and their main suspect, Paul Freshour, Mary's former brother-in-law. Paul had recently separated from his wife, Ron's sister. There was tension in the family. And here's the kicker, the gun in the box. It was traced back to Paul. He claimed it had been stolen from his garage weeks earlier. Now Paul had never been accused of writing the letters. In fact, he'd even helped the family early on, when the first threat started. But once the trap was found and the gun was linked to him, everything changed. He was arrested and charged with attempted murder. And this is where things get murky. During the trial, Paul was never charged with writing the letters, only for the booby trap. But the prosecution used the letters to paint him as unhinged, dangerous, vengeful. He was found guilty and sentenced to 7 to 25 years in prison. So now Paul is locked up. You'd think the story ends there, but it doesn't. Because after Paul was placed in solitary confinement, with no access to writing materials, no visits, no phone calls, the letters continued, dozens of them, same handwriting, same tone, same terrifying threats, and not just to people in Circleville. These letters started popping up in other parts of Ohio too. The prison warden said Paul couldn't have sent them. He was physically isolated, monitored, and yet the letters kept coming. Even Paul himself received one. It said, "Now when are you going to believe you aren't going to get out of there?" That line sent chills down everyone's spine. So who was it? There are a few theories, and none of them are perfect. One theory says it was Mary herself. Maybe she was trying to distract from the affair or frame Paul, but there's zero physical evidence connecting her to the letters. Another theory suggests it was a group of people, maybe even insiders within the sheriff's office. Some believe the sheriff received letters too, but destroyed them to cover up possible corruption. And then there's handwriting analysis. Multiple experts compared Paul's writing to the letters. Some said it matched. Others said it absolutely didn't. Even polygraph tests, Paul passed one, twice. Eventually, after 10 years in prison, Paul was released. He maintained his innocence until the day he died. In one of his final interviews, he said, "They wanted to shut me up." And they did, but they never stopped the real writer. So here's where we're left. Hundreds of letters sent over decades. At least one person dead, another imprisoned, a woman nearly killed, a community traumatized, and no one knows who was behind it. The case was never officially reopened. The files remain incomplete. Some people in town still won't talk about it. Others think they know who did it, but no one can prove it. It's as if the Circleville letter writer was always just one step ahead, watching, waiting, knowing exactly what to say to stir fear and paranoia, and vanish without a trace. So what do you think? Was Paul Freshour guilty, or was he set up? Could this have been the work of more than one person? Let me know your theory in the comments. I'm curious where you land on this one. And if you want more deep dives into lesser-known true crime cases, the ones that don't get covered over and over, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We've got more mysteries, more strange disappearances, and more chilling cold cases coming soon. Because sometimes, the stories you haven't heard are the ones that stay with you the longest.